What's going on, boys? Welcome to day 121 of development on Terra Factor. Yesterday, bunch of quality of life stuff for the factory and the player's fingies. We now have a click to hold feature. It's excellent. You can do one of these now. Man, that's good. Click to hold for the harvesting, and same thing for the digging. Today I have here with me half a cup of coffee from leftovers from yesterday. Gotta start the day off right, man. Still hits. Today we have but one goal. We are gonna make combat feel good. That's the goal for today. It already feels alright, especially with the slimes. Specifically though, I want to get combat against this little guy feeling good. This little critter. I mean, it actually already kind of feels possible, but the main thing I want to do really is just get this kind of starting weapon feeling alright, and then add in some more swords so that, you know, the player has some stuff to kind of scale up into later on. So, bunch of balancing, a little bit of new content, should be a good day. And then hopefully after that, it'll be on to shipping the next version of the playtest. I don't know when it's gonna happen, likely by the end of the week. If it doesn't happen by the end of the week, then I'm a failure. So the first thing I'm gonna do is fix up this kind of like slash animation, because it's kind of scuffed. Quick update, I got the swing feeling alright. I mean, there's barely a noticeable difference, but combat's feeling alright now against this guy. Like, I just added a stun state and he just gets knocked back a little bit. And I cleaned up the hit VFX a tiny bit as well. And yeah, I mean, that feels kind of possible. It doesn't really feel like a threat because you can kind of just do this, which maybe sucks a little bit. To be fair, it's an early enemy, so you should probably be able to cheese him like this. I don't know. I think next up, what I want to do actually is just make better weapons. Because at this stage, kind of want to start advancing into bigger and better weapons. Like, the axe is kind of just really overpowered right now. So yeah, I think it's time to bring in some swords and just get like the different tiers feeling nice enough from like an advancement perspective. Zen mode for factory build. So the problem with adding a kind of peaceful mode is that you split the gameplay. The more I work on combat, the more that entire part of the game just gets not consumed by some players, right? And if I'm planning at some point in the future to have resources come from enemies and stuff like that, then that breaks down pretty quickly, right? So I think the better question is, how do you add combat into the game that doesn't suck in a way that the people who want a more peaceful experience can't like essentially build their factory in a way to opt out of it and create defenses and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think it's more of a balancing question than anything. All right, we now have 3 different tiers of weapons. The early game, pretty rough to whack him down. And then we got the mid game, not too bad. And then the end game. Perfect. I could so imagine an intense boss battle where you kind of require a decent weapon. Like this would be good because it's got a good reach. And you're just like dashing out of the way, dodging shit, you know, being very precise. And you kind of need this to take down the boss. Now that that's feeling alright, I feel like what I want to do next is just integrate it into the design a bit better. Currently, you know, the crafting recipes for these are like exactly the same. So I've got to figure out, you know, what do we actually want for the crafting recipe for the iron sword and then the late game large sword? How do we go about doing that? I kind of want to do some kind of like alloy thing that requires you to make some kind of automated crafting station. I don't know exactly what that is. We could just kind of make like a recipe in here and call it a day, but kind of in the mood for making some new content, you know? So I've made it so that you can only craft it in the assembler. So if we grab one of those real quick, plonk it down, then the large sword is in here, 100 iron, 100 copper, 50 slime blocks. So you're gonna basically need to automate all of those. Otherwise, that's gonna suck getting it by hand. Eventually, you know, I kind of want to do like an alloy thing or just have some kind of better late game resource that comes into play here. Actually, what if we make Stumpy drop a specific resource that we then use in the crafting of that? That could be interesting. I kind of fuck with that. Hold up, let me try that real quick. I have got Stumpy dropping this thing. The Violence Pearl. Very ominous. And that is now going into the recipe. To the great big sword of violence. So yeah, I mean, you'll basically need 100 of these. It's like enough where you could feasibly do it by hand, but it's not so much that you're forced to automate it. I kind of want to force the automation here. So let me touch up the animation for when he dies, so it looks like he's kind of coalescing into the orb a bit more. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty cool. I like that. Actually, okay, I kind of like the idea of having a violence ingot, which is just the pearl plus the iron. And so that way you gotta like forge them together. Makes a bit more sense. And then we just use that as the base. Oh yeah, now we're talking, dude. Violentium. All right, this now turns into Violentium Greatsword. I like it. All right. So we've got Stumpy. He's feeling all right in terms of combat now. Nice drop from him. We can use that drop to smelt Violentium ingot. And we can craft the greatsword. You would need to kill 200 Stumpies in order to do this, though. I would imagine you could probably make an auto Stumpy killing farm at nighttime and then sort out the violence pearls, maybe. So I think it is in theory possible. So I would consider that. Make combat good, please. Done and dusted. Better drop for Stumpy. Also done. I'm gonna keep grinding. You're like 8 hours in. Because I'm having fun. I may not look like it, but me sitting here in silence, intently staring at my screen is one of my greatest joys. I kind of have to hop off now though, because it's getting towards the end of the day and I've got to go edit this video. So almost ready for the next playtest, not quite. I've just been doing a self playtest for the last maybe like hour or two, fixing some little annoyances that come up. And yeah, there's still a couple more things I want to do. So tomorrow, knock on wood, should be the day, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, man.